Hey, this is Brainwaves and I'm gonna show you how to create a drop in the style of ASHEZ. This whole project file, as usual, is available on my Patreon along with many others, so feel free to check the link in the description if you want to get it, and let's get started. So the BPM for this one is 172. For the drums I have like a simple kick pattern, then the snare, it's on the 3 as usual, and I have like another snare doing some like offbeat pattern. Then I have one ride and one hi-hat. So all the drums together. So that's for the drums. Now let's jump into the synths, and as you can see, I have 3 subgroups in here. One is for the call section of the drop, another for the response section, and some for the bass fills. In the main group for the synths, I have my sidechain in place. As you can see in here, I'm doing some manual sidechaining. And then I have some reverb throw automations just to help with the flow of things. So for example, without the automation of the reverb, it sounds like this. And then with the automation, it's a little bit subtle on this one. I'm gonna exaggerate it. It just helps to create like that little flow and movement in between sections. So now let's jump into the main basses. So this is the first one for the call section or the A section of the drop. So let me mute the post-processing and show you what's going on. So for this sound, this actually came from a preset of mine that I'm tweaking. It starts with a sine wave and it has like a little bit of a second harmonic in here, as you can see. Right now it sounds like this. There is a master tune modulation, which is really important. Amount of 40 in here, and it's going bipolar mode, so both ways, and that's gonna be important. As I said, you're gonna notice in a bit. Then I enabled a second oscillator, and this one it's also a sine wave, but it's 1 octave up, and I'm doing some FMing, 38%. The level of the first one is at 100 and the level of the second one is at 28%, and panning it's 4 to the right. Now the phase and the random for both oscillators are all the way down to the left. So that's the sound so far. Then we put some tube distortion with these values, then compression multiband with these values, then some delay, and this delay, it's doing something interesting. It's not your normal delay, but this is just making things wider. You can achieve that effect by putting both the left and the right channel on a very similar speed. So the delay time for the left is 8 and the delay time for the right is 10. You put the feedback all the way down and then you increase the mix, and that gives you like a wider sound. Then I put some reverb with these values in here. Something that is also very important for the movement of the sound is that I'm actually automating the pitch bend. So you can see that I decrease the pitch range by -6 in here. I hit config and click that, and then I have my slider in here which I can play with, and I'm doing this action. So without it, with it. All right, now that has some extra post-processing outside of the patch. Erosion is just adding some noise on top of the sound. And then this EQ is just cutting a lot of the low mids that I didn't need and boosting around 8K, and also just cutting everything below 100 because I have then this sub bass layer that is covering for that area. And as usual, this sub bass is just the same patch, just deleting all that I didn't need and leaving what I find useful for a sub bass. So sine wave still the exact same, just took out the second oscillator and took all the other effects and just left the distortion, and I changed it to soft clipping mode. I'm doing the same pitch bend automation, and I'm doing the same master tune modulation as well. So just so that it follows the exact same movement that the main bass. Now I have like some extra variations for the sound. Like for example, the first time around it sounds like this, and then the second time around it sounds like that. The only difference between this main bass 3 and this one that I showed you at the beginning is that this one is just 2 octaves and 4 semitones up. That's all the difference that there is in between those two. I don't know if I went through this, but the FM amount is 38%, just in case. Oh, this one also has some noise, 6%. Just making it a little bit noisier than this. Oh, actually this one also has it, so forget it. Both have like this noise oscillator, AC hum at 6%. I just totally skipped it, but there you go. Then in some other part, we also get like, we also get that movement, and that's coming from this shifter that I have in the group. And so you can see that it's only on for certain sections like in here. And what I'm doing with that is I have the shifter in frequency mode. The dry wet is at 38%. And I'm doing a little bit of automation sometimes with the fine tuning like in here. Not in here. In there is a static, but in this part I'm doing that automation that is giving it like a nice sound. So yeah, just little details that definitely improve the whole drop and make it more engaging and interesting to listen. Then in some sections in the second part of the drop, I just duplicated the layer and I just put it like 1 octave up. As you can see, this is D1 and this is D0, well, D sharp. So yeah, just making it 1 octave up. But if you check, it's like exactly the same patch. I just duplicated and put it like 1 octave up. And I changed the EQ so that it's not messing with the low mids, so it's at like 300. So that covers the call section of the basses. Now let's go to the response. And the response, it's actually a variation of the call bass. So it sounds like this. As you can see, I have an auto pan in the group. Just to help with that like tremolo movement. And let me just show you the preset. So this starts with a saw wave, random phase is all the way down, level is all the way up. And that's how it sounds so far. Then I put distortion in this mode with these values. Then compression. Then delay. Just doing, you know, the exact same thing that I showed you before. As I said, this is a variation, so it has like the exact same values and everything. Then filter, I'm doing a low 6 filter. Cutoff is at that value, and I'm modulating the LFO1, which is in 1/8 rate trigger mode, and then I'm routing that to the cutoff, 55% and 19% of drive. Lastly, I have some reverb, and that's it for the patch. Pretty simple. Then outside of it, I just added some EQ adjustments. So I'm boosting around 167, then around 40-45, and then around like 10K. Just making it like a little bit heavier and brighter. Then I put some erosion and another extra EQ, just cutting everything below 150 and boosting more around 8K. And then I just created my sub bass, which once again is just a variation. In this case, as you can see, I have a sine wave and another harmonic. Besides the fundamental, I'm adding another harmonic just to make it a little bit fatter. Then I have this LFO1 modulating the level. I also routed the LFO to the filter with these values, and the drive is at 43. So this one, I'm doing a little bend at the end with the E note, and that's why having the mono, legato, and portamento enable is important, just to get like that, you know, slide up effect or slide pitch up effect. Now let's move to the fill. I have this little delay bass, which is just a variation of the call bass, but it has some delay and reverb. As you can see in here, that's pretty much it. So not much to explain on that one. Then I have this pitch down bass. So it starts with a sine wave. I'm doing 68% in the level, FMing from B with these values, and I enable the second oscillator with this wavetable position, and also modulating the LFO1 to the wavetable position. Level is all the way down. Also check out that the envelope has these values in here just to give more movement to the sound, to shape, you know, the attack and decay, release, sustain, all of that. Then that's how that sounds so far. I have a filter opening up like that with those values. dry 57. Then I go to the effects and I have some hyper dimension, distortion, phaser, without the phaser, with it, rate all the way down, and just gonna go over the values so that you can copy. Compressor, gain at 10, around 10, reverb, and EQ. And the EQ is also being modulated by the first LFO on the gain of this first one, and also on this other one. And I also have a master tone modulation, which is really important. I should have covered this one at the start because it's really important for the sound. So amount of 9 in there, and type is unipolar this time. You can hear the difference. And that's it for the patch. Then outside of it, I am just doing some adjustments. Just like that. And then we have this neuro bass, which I really like. And now I'm going to show you how that's done. Let me take out this. I'm not using this EQ, so I'm just going to delete that. I'm doing mono legato portamento. That's really important because I'm doing like this big like slide up effect. So without it, it would sound terrible. So you definitely need that. Then I have, it starts with a saw wave with 2 voices of unison, and check out that this LFO is modulating the detuning of the saw waves. So that's really important for this one. If I bypass this, it's not quite the same. Then I enable a second saw wave as well, and it's 2 octaves up, and I'm doing some FMing. So the second oscillator, the level is all the way down, and the FMing amount, it's 25, 19%. And I'm doing this shape for the FM knob. Once again, really important for the sound. Then I have distortion, TUF mode, and compression. That's it. That's it for that one. Then outside of the patch, I have a shifter once again, and I'm doing something really similar to what I showed you before with the call group. And it's that I have it on frequency mode, and I'm changing the level of the fine knob. So in here, sounds like this, and in here, sounds like that. Without the fine knob, you can see how it definitely changes the sound. So that's for all the synths in the drop. Then I have some fills like these ones that have like a lot of reverb. And then some like impact and reverses. Yeah, pretty simple. That's it for that one. So as usual, this whole project file is available on my Patreon along with many others, and also I'm doing one-on-one coaching, so if you want to jump on a Zoom call with me, feel free to check the link in the description. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I hope I see you around.